Hello, my name's Pene. Welcome to Penelope's Chinwag. I live in the southeast of England with my husband Pete, and this week it's been a game of two halves. Two halves because we went away somewhere very special, and then when we came back we felt quite poorly indeed. You know, it's this summer cold. A lot of you have said it's taken its toll, and it's taken its toll on us. And I really didn't think I'd be able to do Chinwag today. But I find, yes, if I've had a slow start and, I can. So I'm feeling a lot better. Have a shower, do your hair. Always helps, doesn't it? Slopping about in your PJs. Well, then I thought, well, I'll do it in the garden because we've had quite a bit of breeze this summer. No breeze today and hot. I'm in the end bit of the garden. That bit down there is where my chickens were and where they might be again in the future. I'm coming round. It's very sunny, so I'm sort of in this little bit here. Looking at me, Pete's planted a wildlife hedge, and the other side of the hedge is a field. If you've watched me, you'll see the fields that we walk through. We don't have many fields around here. We just happen to live on the side of one. We have the seaside, and so there's a wildlife hedge there that needs trimming. Of course, everything in the garden always needs trimming, doesn't it? Especially a garden like ours. So we've got the guys in, super guys. They're trimming all round, not all round because there's so much to do. They'll be here a fortnight. It's a never-ending job. But they've started trimming where we need it. And then they're putting us up a new fence in between our neighbour and ourselves, which runs along our two conservatories, really. So it's a little bit at the minute, oh, how are you? Can see you. Well, not that we're looking and, being very polite. But that'll be going up tomorrow. They've got to dig out a lot of ivy and you know what it's like, but the fence is absolutely rotten. So that's what we've done. So at the end there's a little film about where we went, and I'll tell you a bit more about that towards the end. I'm going to show you what I've been crafting this week, and I've been pondering. You know what it's like? I mean, we go on the train to, where we went we went to Dartmoor. And we go on the train. And as I walked back from the station last Sunday night, I just said to Pete, sorry, love, I walked up the stairs and got into bed and I didn't get out till Tuesday. But then, been recovering. And as you can see, I'm a lot better. Anyway, I was pondering when I was in bed and feeling sorry for myself. You know how you do? And I started to have a look through. Or do you? Maybe you don't ponder. See, this is where you go. I can't think you ponder like me. I'm a ponderer. Not a wanderer, a ponderer. Anyway, I was pondering about Ratty and Mouche and Toady. Yeah, my dad was like Toady. He'd be right into something, and you'd go round and you'd say, oh, I found this, Dad, and you might be interested in... Why? I'd say, well, because, it fits in with what you're doing. Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. Oh, aren't you, Dad? What are you doing then? Oh, I'm on to this. We all go, oh, righty-ho then. And that was Dad. Not that he was a narcissist like Toady was, but, he was going... And I thought, well, up to a point, well, we all are, aren't we, a bit? If we were stuck in the mud and never... There's always new crafts to try, new things to do. So, yes, but Toady was a little bit over the top, wasn't he? Anyway, just let me get it. They're beautiful. They really are. Dad bought them for me, actually, funnily enough. Let me put the cover down there. The Riverbank and Other Stories. Beautifully illustrated. and The Adventures of Mr. Toad. And it got me thinking about, oh, here's the open road. How exciting it is to go away, but how lovely it is to come back. As the two rowed gently downstream, Ratty ponders to Mole that there's nothing, absolutely nothing, half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats. In or out of them, it doesn't matter. Nothing seems really to matter. That's the charm of it. Whether you arrive at your destination, or whether you reach somewhere else, or whether you never get anywhere at all, you're always busy and you never do anything in particular. And isn't that true? Isn't that like our hobbies and our passions? Just to be relaxed, not to think, oh, I've got to get this done, oh, I said I'd do that, oh, my goal is this or that. But to, just enjoy the being, just enjoy the process. Whether we get something brilliant at the end, well, that's a matter of taste, isn't it? Or whether we abandon it and frog it, as they say, or, just don't finish it. We've enjoyed doing it while we can. We don't need to get this, oh, I must finish that, and I've got that, tick that off my list. Just enjoy doing it, just as Ratty and Mole enjoyed going down the river. But then, of course, Mole, he goes on all these adventures, doesn't he? He goes on all the adventures with Ratty, and I've got things crawling at me. And then he goes, with Toady and all of that. And it's all absolutely mega. And then one day he just says to himself, I've got to go home. My little hole in the ground, it's perfect for me. His home. It's not just a house, is it? It's a home. And, so going away is super. But coming back can be just as super. Just to relax in your own place, in your own bed, and have your own things around you. It's very special. So that's the game of two halves for me. But I enjoyed getting into those, and while I was in bed having a read. Let's put that down there. So where shall I start? Well, they're looking at me here. So as my viewers know, I've been clearing Mum's house. That's all finished now. The new people are moving in next week. And I'm so joyful. I'm so happy. It's lovely. But of course, wherever I go in my house, I'm looking at things that I've brought back. Why? Because some of the things, they're precious to me, but other things have been in that place for so long. I can just, if I look at it, I can just see the whole house. I see that ornament. And then the whole house builds itself round because it was always in the same place. They're in my hall at the moment, on my front windowsill. They won't be able to stay there. I've got too much. But at the minute, they are. And every time I look at them, I can see exactly where they were, round Mum and Dad's. There's King Charles, or Prince Charles, as he was then. Hello, Charlie boy. We call him Charlie boy here. And I think it's his first son. They did go in the charity pile, but then I took them out. And then there's a couple of... My dad was Dickens mad, Pickwick. And this is Sam Waller. And there he is, made out of wood. Can you see him? He's painted. And he's a letter opener. Pop it in the sun. And then a crocodile. And so they're on my desk. I'm knitting my granddaughter a shawl. And I'm nearly finished, but I haven't rushed it. It's the wool, Ellie, this wool is, it's gorgeous. I got it from Ellie of Craft House Magic. and it's the alpaca and silk. Honestly, it's gorgeous. This is the right way. I hope you can see it. Oh yes, not too bad. So can you see the yellow? Oh, you see, this is the trouble. Well, you'll see it when it's finished and I'll be indoors. It's the Silver River shawl, and this wool, it's yellow and blue and peachy and cream, and then last time I did tell you the colours, so they're named after songs with Ellie. So that's where I've got to. I've got to finish this one here, which is going to be the same as that, which won't take me long, and then I've got a little bit of edging in the yellow. So that's it. So coming along, enjoying doing that. I don't have to look at a pattern to do that. I just sit and knit. I know it off by heart. So that's restful. And then the other one, which is completely the opposite. I have to look and think about everything, but it's so worth it. There he is. I'm just starting on his legs. You have to put a little bit of wool where his tail's going to be. And I've just got his legs to do. Oh, he's made of the Surrey alpaca, so he's so cuddly and soft. And I've used this stuff from Lucy Locketland. I meant to bring it down, but I'll just get some out of his head and show you. It's very nice, especially if you've got these animals and they're smallish. I'll see if I can get some out. He's quite a long way away now, this head. Oh, let me pull it. Look, can you see? Little balls of wool. And so you can stuff that very nicely. You have to wash him before you sew him up. Or Cynthia Valet suggests you do, which I will. So he's going to be washed. There he is. Now, he's got dungarees on the pattern, and he's got pyjamas because he does hibernate. But I said to Pete, I don't want to give him any clothes. I love him as he is. Just in, what do we call, au naturel? Yeah. And Pete said, you can't have him without any clothes. I said, I want to knit him a blue belt so that he can hang his tools on it, because he has to catch fish and all that, and he's got to have a little ice pick and things like that. And so I might just knit him a blue belt. That's what I fancy doing. He thinks so too. He's quite happy being au naturel, aren't you? Yeah, he is. That's the vibes I'm getting. So a blue belt would be very nice. We'll see what you look like when you're stuffed. So maybe when I see you next time, the shawl will be finished and Mouche will be here, or PJ as he's known in this house. Look at his little ears. And but anyway, we're enjoying getting to know each other. I did do the tail wrong. You just thread a thread through 6 stitches and then back another way 6 stitches, and I didn't keep them in play, and so when I came to do it was all a bit wonky, so I just had to undo that bit. Seems drastic at the time, but it isn't. It soon knits up, and now he's got his bottom. It's like doing a sock, isn't it? Sorry about that, talking about bottoms, but yes. And so there he is. And I made myself, I've been thinking about it, because I'm not very good at journaling or keeping journals or keeping, but I do need things for when I do my projects. So I've decided at the minute, of course we can always change our minds, but at the minute I've decided to do, where is it? Oh, over here. I'll show you. I'll say goodbye to Mouche. Goodbye, PJ. Yeah. See you next time. I bought myself some Stamperia pads. I love them. Absolutely love them. I bought a garden house and it's only 6 by 6. Small. Cute. And I bought orchids and cats. That's 8 by 8. And I've decided, well, it's going down well with me at the minute, to make a little, I got the idea from Julie. Come on, missus. Bob's your uncle. And I decided to copy one of her one-page leaf. Oh, I forget what she calls it. Anyway, this is it. So front and back. And then inside, I've made it a notebook. Can you see? So I've got a front pocket here. And these are very handy because when I do Mouche or any other pattern, if it's in a book, I need to put, you know, a little note, here. I'll show you in a minute because I made some more. Little tags they are. And then I just stencil very lightly on some plain paper, as Julie showed me how to do. And I've started keeping my notes for Mouche. You know, I've got to knit rows 5, 6, 7, and I like to cross it off as I do it. So I think there's 8 pages there. And then there's 2. Let's see. Ah, yes. There's 2 pockets there to put things in, which I've used. And you just sew it in. Apparently in the journaling world, this is called a signature. And Julie shows you how to sew it in. I mean, it's very easy. Just and sew through to the back. I'm pleased with it. So that is with me while I'm making Mouche. And then when I make something else, my next project, I'm going to make myself a little one. Maybe smaller, you know, because this pad's smaller. It doesn't have to be a certain size, does it? I'm going to make myself a little notebook that, you know, I'm more likely to keep it and see my notes and see how I felt about it. And if I want to, I don't know if I want to write about it or anything, but I might want to. There's a little tag there. And there's more space. I mean, obviously this will be carried on more than Mouche because, you know, I've only just thought of it and I've nearly finished Mouche. There's plenty of bits there. And then you see, I've got my tags I'm using. I need always abbreviations because if it's not tagged, oh, I think I know how to do it, but I don't. And this is where I am in the book, knitting the legs. So I've got my 2 tags there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm rather pleased with it. It's something I know that I will use and that can just go. And then, of course, when I finish that one, I can pop it on the shelf and make myself some more. And I'm more likely to keep that than I am. Oh, you know what it's like with notebooks. I've been watching someone called Strawberry Patch. She was recommended to me by Helen of Mousy Makes, and I started watching her from the beginning. She's been, you know, vlogging for about 5 years, and it's lovely to go back. She told us live that she's got engaged. Then she showed us her wedding, and then she showed her little girl, and she sat and had a chat about how she felt after she had her little girl. And I resonated so much. You think you're going to be the same, and then you're not. You're completely changed as a person. And she is too. She makes the most wonderful dolls. I mean, wonderful. She paints their faces, and they're very quirky, very quirky. And she lives in New Zealand. She's a bit of a traveller, comes from Russia. And I just want to get on a plane and go and see her in New Zealand and have a chat. I want to learn how to make her dolls. I want to see her children. That's how I feel. And I've been watching, because I've been in bed, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And she was saying before she had the baby that, oh yes, she was going to use these eco nappies and all this, that and t'other. And then afterwards she just said, I can't, I'm sorry, I just can't. My baby poops 10 times a night and I need these oh, no, I might do later. And I really resonated with her. Of course, that really got me thinking about, how it was when I had my first baby. I mean, she's 54 now, Kim, and you'll see her. She's in the film at the end because we went away with her for 3 nights. And I just remember listening to, Strawberry. Her name's not Strawberry, is it? What's it? I've forgotten. I'll put it up on screen. Anyway, listening to her talking, it just put me right back there, coming out of hospital, having new baby. And in my day, we didn't have disposable nappies. My day, in 1969, April, we didn't have disposable nappies, not over here. And so I had 12, what were they called? I know you're all shouting at me. 12, no, it weren't linen. 12 nappies that you could wash. Well, how marvellous is that? I had a twin tub, no automatic machine. And I remember getting baby home from hospital. And I was rather, overwhelmed, shall we say? And she pooped. Yes, Kim, you pooped. So what did I do? I had a coal fire at the time. I just picked this nappy up and put it on the fire. I thought, what else would you do with it? Burn it, obviously, burn it. But that left me with 11 nappies. And so I only ever had 11. And they're 11. You managed. My baby was potty trained very young, because she was a year old the next April and running round in a little pair of knickers. And that's what happened then. At any opportunity, off came the nappy because you had to wash it. Get the twin tub out and then get it dry because I didn't have a dryer. I mean, obviously you need 36 nappies, it's obvious, isn't it? But I didn't have the money for them. If I'd have asked my mum and dad, could you buy me 24 nappies? They would have done, but I never did. I didn't know you could. I didn't know I should. I just managed with 11. But I wanted to put those 11 on the fire. But then what would I do? So yeah, going back, how life has changed for me and how life has changed for new mums. So watching this morning, it really put me in touch with how I felt and how it was. And then of course I'll explain about the film. We went to Dartmoor. His mum and dad moved to a little village called Pene, which now isn't a village, and it's on the edge of Dartmoor. We went out for a little ride over Dartmoor, car ride, one day, and we came across Buckland in the Moor, which is beautiful, thatched cottages, and went up the lane, Elliot's Hill Farm, and riding stables, Judy, and we rode with Judy for years. We'd get on the horse and then we'd go down the lane and then just onto the moor. and then we'd have to go down the slippery slope. It was, and we'd all be walking down like this on the ponies, on the horses. We'd get down the end of the slippery slope, and there would be a little river, a little stream, a little river. And the girls, we went back with friends, and the girls would play with their friends down there. And then, as we went past the river, Judy would say, "Okay, canter up." And we had the hot. And you know what? I used to canter up there, and the whole world stopped. And then I'd be straight away thinking of my next ride, my next time out here, when can we get back here? And that canter up, there's nothing like it. So of course, we went to a hotel, very special hotel. I've left my part of my heart there because the staff are so friendly. It's so beautiful. The chef got a Michelin star this year, so he's worked really hard. And it's like a team. They commented on my knitting, and I feel I know Nicola, the reception. It's not like it's just as soon as you get there, I just relaxed. We just loved it. It was the atmosphere, the ambience, the situation. So we just stayed around the hotel because there's ancient woodlands around it, and our view from our room, just hearing the stream. Oh, I just could go back tomorrow anyway. Of course, we had to visit the slippery slope. And so we went on the train, but Andrew and Kim, they came in their car, and they were able, just to take us the next day. We went and we found it, and Kim said, "Oh, it's still slope." It's, sometimes when you imagine things when you're, grown up and you were a child, you think, "Oh, it used to be a big hill, but now it's flat." No, it's still quite steep, but overgrown, because Judy moved. She sold the farm. But there we were standing, a bit tearful to be truthful. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, down the lane came a horse. And I said, "Hello, do you know Judy from Elliot's Hill Farm?" "Oh," she said, "I'm the owner of Elliot's Hill Farm. Judy has helped me break this horse in." Of course, we had a long chat. She told us where Judy lives, and maybe when we go back next, we'll call on her. And yeah, it was absolutely special. I mean, what's the chances of that? So we had a super 3 days away. And I must say that we booked to go with our other daughter, Nicola, Tommy's mum. No, not Tommy's mum, Tommy's nan. Because, well, she wants to see the slippery slope too. And she wants to enjoy the food and the ambience in the hotel. So we've booked to go back again. So that's the introduction to the film. That's my little vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. And until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Your destination will be on the right.
loud. Oh. Rain, stop play.